Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the C-Man, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down. The day has finally arrived. It is Wednesday. It is dark. It's very early. We got one last episode to watch, and we get to find out. You get to find out. Well, I got to find out, too. If this episode puts Moon Knight in a spot where it could leapfrog Loki for my favorite thing that Marvel has done on the TV side. What am I talking about? Let me pull up a chair. Take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into episode 6, the season finale of Moon Knight. And when I put the episode on, I overslept, so it was a half hour late. And I've gotten the title when I put on most of the episodes. This morning, it was just episode 6. I was online, though, and I saw somewhere, I think it's titled Gods and Monsters, I think, or something like that. If that is the correct title, if I got that right, very fitting title. But, episode 6 has arrived, and we've reached the conclusion of Moon Knight, and I know the thing that's on all of your minds is, did it leapfrog Loki? The short answer is no, it did not. Loki is still my favorite show that Marvel's put out. Michael Waldron, just expert writing. Some of the best writing that we've gotten in any Marvel anything. And, I mean, you've even been hearing his praises from Sam Raimi, because he wrote the script for Doctor Strange 2. That writing and what that show did and what it allowed Hiddleston to do, still my favorite. It's the strongest, like I said, writing maybe of anything that Marvel's put out. But WandaVision also was not leapfrogged. That is still my second favorite. That is a special show. It is unique, and it's a way to use television and TV storytelling in a way we've never really seen before, and that's still just it's so spectacular. And Liz Olsen, I mean, is like one of my favorite things in all of Marvel right now. But Moon Knight, doesn't leapfrog him, because this episode that I had potential issues with going in, those issues did show their head. We're going to start with some of the negatives with this episode. Look, my overall feeling on the show, I loved it. Even though it's fighting with Hawkeye for the third spot, I thoroughly enjoyed this thing start to finish. I think when you look at the overall story, what they tell, how they tell it, and the things that they're able to amplify, like the mental health story elements of this show, it's all spectacular. But coming in, I said it last week, I was nervous. We had to save Mark, save Steven, find Layla, save Khonshu, take down Harrow and Ammit, and address the third altar, which we all, have been pretty solidly locked in on. It has to be Jake Lockley. But regardless, I mean, we know that Mark and Steven are blacking out, so you have to address that. There's 6 major things to happen in an episode, and I would have assumed that this episode would be at least 60 minutes. I was hoping for 90, because it did feel like we needed another episode or 2. Marvel, if you were listening to this crazy guy talk, 6 episodes is not the answer. 8 episodes. I think you get the least pushback and the least complaints in an 8-episode season, because it allows you to really flesh out your story. You don't have to have any rush moments, and we had rush moments in episode 3. We had rush moments at the top and at the end of this episode. And if you had 2 more episodes to play with, look, I don't think you needed 2 more episodes to wrap this piece of the story up. I think you needed an extra 20, 30 minutes probably. But having those 2 additional episodes, I think, could just space things out, give you the ability to flesh out more characters, and just give fans more of what they want. But yeah, the 6 episodes kind of hindered them here. And ironically, we didn't get a 60-minute episode. We didn't get a 90-minute episode. We got the shortest episode of the season. 44 minutes, plus credits, post-credit. It's about 40 minutes of television to wrap all of that up. The only way you were going to do it is if you pulled some cheats. And Jeremy Slater comes back here. I was very excited for this, because he crushed that first episode. I think episode 5 is the strongest written episode. Simply because of what it is tackling and how impactful it was. I was an emotional wreck. I do have reactions coming, and you'll see how emotional I got in episode 5. And there is at least one moment where like an emotional, impactful beat should have hit, kind of coming out of that episode 5. And because we kind of have to speed through some stuff to handle all 6 of those things, you don't feel the emotional impact. And you'll see that when I get the reactions up. But we'll get all 6 up at some point after this one. But yeah, you end up having to really speed through the first 10 minutes. I mean, the first 10 minutes, the amount of times I just sat in my chair and I was like, well, that was so easy. Oh, well, I guess if you do that would speed things along. Like, you could see where they were cheating and how they were jumping. And that first 10 minutes, really, for me, is where you really could use that 20 of 30 extra minutes and probably take 10 of that 30 extra that I'd like to see here at the end of the show. But, like, it moved so fast. That opening 10 minutes could have been an episode of television all on its own. And then the same thing kind of happens at the end. The episode is kind of bookended with some of the, I don't want to say weakest or sloppiest, because I do think the story works. But it's moving way too fast. I mean, the beginning and the end of this move faster than episode 3 does. And while the end, I think, on the overall sticks to the landing, like, how they chose to actually end the show, I was like, that's where? Like, I get you want to leave me wanting more. But I kind of felt like it was a more negative wanting more than a more positive. Now, there's a post-credit scene that does leave you wanting more in the positive way. But even that, I feel like if you just would have had 30 extra minutes in this episode, you could have made that even cooler than it was. I'm excited. There's no announcement for Season 2. There's no announcement of movies. There's no Moon Knight will return. Spoilers at the end of this one. But what they set up for where this character is when we come back, cool stuff. But yeah, I felt like Slater dropped the ball at the beginning and the end of this episode. And the middle of this episode is all about Mohamed Diab, who's back behind the camera. He takes 4 out of the 6 episodes, and you had Benson and Moorhead, who did really good things in their 2 eps. And Diab, for me, is just a talent that we got to keep our eyes on, because wow, dude, like, wow. I mean, what he does with the camera, how he visually tells the story has been spectacular, and you almost see the growth in him as the show kind of goes on, the way we see, like, the growth in Isaac's performance, you know what I mean? And what we get this episode, you know, not just from the camera movements or how he stages the action, we get tons of action, finally. Like, the one thing that they nail is the middle of this episode, and there is lots of wonderful Moon Knight stuff and just general action. I mean, Layla, she's been kicking ass all season. She definitely got to be kicking ass here, too. But that stuff aside, the visual effects, both practical and CG, just create so many wow moments. I jumped on Twitter right after to see if anybody else felt a little disappointed, and 98% of the tweets I saw were just about the visualization or about one other thing. But so much, like, it's just imagery. It's stellar. I mean, the visual effects and just how Diab opts to frame things, whether he's in close, how he's shooting and staging his action, and some of these wide shots. I mean, he pulls the camera back sometime to give you perspective because they mess with scale in this one, and it's just, wow, man. There are just pretty moments. I mean, there are images that you can just snapshot and put them up on your wall, man. Like, gorgeous stuff. So I thought he absolutely crushed this episode, and no shock to anybody, the acting was stellar this episode, top to bottom. I mean, Oscar Isaac, he's so good, and watching him and Pedro Pascal with the Nick Cage movie that's out got me in, and Anya Taylor-Joy in The Northman, got me into it, like, who would be my top 5 people in Hollywood right now? Like, if I'm going to make a movie, who am I going to get? And obviously those 3 are all in there. Florence Pugh, also, Robert Pattinson, and I'm struggling to figure out where the rankings go. That's in no particular order. Also Zendaya. I have 6 right now, vying for 5 spots, but, like, there's some unbelievable talent in Hollywood right now. I mean, even some of the upcomers, right? May Calloway, someone like Jenna Ortega. But Pedro Pascal is amazing. Can't wait for Mandalorian. But Oscar, and speaking of, quick Star Wars tangent. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with all you guys. But unfortunate timing for Moon Knight. The top rail on Disney Plus is nothing but Star Wars stuff. You have to go into the Marvel space to get the episode. It's not on the rail because it's all Star Wars stuff. So, side tangent, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you all. Oscar Isaac, man, I mean, you just I can't get enough. And what he does with Steven and Mark is spectacular. And what he does in and out of the suits, we get some of the most fun suit stuff we get in any of the episodes this episode, and we get some of the best action. I mean, if you liked what you got in, I think, what was it, episode 3, which ironically was the other one that I found was weak writing wise but awesome action wise, same thing here. Take that action, double, triple it. That's what you're getting here, and it's stellar. And some of the visualizations that you get from Moon Knight, but also just from Isaac, what he does just emotionally in the show. I mean, like I said, the writing, there's a moment that should have hit, because Isaac was freaking laying it all out there, but it doesn't because it's moving too fast. But he is absolutely spectacular, and like I said, we get the best action. And just everything he gives us is just wonderful. I love what he does with Mark and Steven. May Calloway, she continues to be a scene stealer, and she gets some really cool stuff in this episode, man. You want to talk about visuals? Layla, on fire this episode. She's been on fire all season, and May Calloway, like I said, she's one of them up-and-comers where I'm like keeping an eye on this girl because she is stellar. And she gets 2 moments in that opening 10 minutes where she just acts her ass off in like 10-30 second little spurts, and it's from her delivery to her expressions to her body language. Like, she is just stellar, and her action, if you like Layla's action up to this point, like I said, the best action we get is in this episode, and that's for sure true with Layla. She can hang, man, and what plays in visually to her action, but yeah, I mean, those two, they steal the whole show, start to finish, and they carry this whole episode start to finish. When you're moving this fast in a finale, you're gonna have to shortchange somebody, and unfortunately, it's Ethan Hawke. I think Ethan Hawke is extremely underutilized this episode. However, when he is on camera, man, is he always putting on a performance. I mean, specifically the last time we see him on camera, I was just like, it's short. You know, the last little bit we get with him is short, but I was just like, wow, dude, he's so freaking good. And yeah, he doesn't get a ton of moments here, but he does crush in every moment that they give him. And all season long, that's been the case. And that's been the case with the acting from these three all season. F. Murray Abraham, we get some of the coolest Khonshu stuff that we have gotten all season long, and his voice work just continues to be tremendous. And anybody else that pops up in here, I mean, there's a bunch of little, we got some gods, we got some avatars, we got some regular people. Even the small performances, they're just all there to support these three in ways that make them pop and make them shine. And, while I could have used more, what we get is awesome. And, I have one issue with the action stretch, and it's more like it's in that wrap-up, right? It's like the end of the episode, but it kind of pours out from the action end, where I thought they sped through things a little too much, where I was like, I understand what you did, but I wish you would have shown me just a little bit more, even in there. So, let's get the Sea Maniacs up, man. I am torn because I love this show. It's the show as a whole has been super enjoyable all season long. I mean, performance-wise, Isaac is tremendous. I mean, Emmys should be coming his way. Emmys should be coming May Calloway's way. Emmys should be coming Ethan Hawke's way. These three actors are stellar all season. The support that you get from the other actors, like people like F. Murray Abraham, even though he's just lending his voice, tremendous stuff, specifically in this episode. Like I said, we get really cool Khonshu stuff. We get really cool Moon Knight stuff. We get cool Layla stuff. We get cool Mark and Steven stuff. The visuals are popping in this episode. The action is stellar. And where the show leaves you, I want to see what we get next for Mark, Steven, and Moon Knight, and Layla. Like, I'm just excited for it. But I think Jeremy Slater dropped the ball a little bit here. I don't think you needed to make this the shortest episode of the season. And I think you could have fleshed out that 10 extra minutes, or that 10 minutes at the top with 10 or 15 extra minutes. Same on the back end. While I would prefer 8 episodes in total, you could have pulled this off in 6 if you just would have given the finale 30 extra minutes. And because of that, it kind of left me a little disappointed. It wanted me it left me wanting more in more of a negative than a positive way. And because of that, it ultimately feels like the second weakest episode, and it's because of I'm a story guy. I'm a writing guy. I think the writing was there this time, and because of that, I got to go 3.5 out of 5. And like you're sitting at home like, that's not too bad. See, man, you're right. I look, even when I have issues with things, I tend to enjoy it. This episode is super enjoyable. I just think it could have been a lot better, and it could have, if it was a lot better, it could have landed Moon Knight in the top of the rankings, easy for me. Because there's some real special stuff in here, specifically with how they handle the mental health and what Oscar Isaac and May Calloway and Ethan Hawke are doing from a performance side. Mohamed Diab, that dude, I'm telling you, keep your eye on him. Keep your eye on Benson and Moorhead. What we got from a directing standpoint all season was spectacular, but yeah, I got to put this pretty much on the same level as episode 3. A lot of potential, a lot of really cool action, but, just lacked a little bit because you had to jump to speed through some of the storytelling. So, look, man, even though I'm a little disappointed because some of the things I was worried about played out for me, I thoroughly enjoyed the finale. I love this show. But the real question is, what are you thinking, man? If you've seen the finale, where does it fall for you? Did you feel like it was moving a little too fast? Did it need an extra 20 to 30 minutes? Did it need an extra 2 episodes? Or was it perfect for you? Maybe you love this episode. Maybe this was your favorite episode. If it was, I want to know that. Keep it spoiler-free, but tell me what was popping, what wasn't working. If you haven't seen the episode, I'm sorry if I wasn't as enthusiastic as last week, but how excited did I get you? Or just how excited are you? Screw what the Seaman thinks, man. I'm pumped for Moon Knight finale. Anything you got, good, bad, indifferent on Moon Knight, keep it spoiler-free, but put it down in the comments section. Look forward to talking to you guys down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you're new, you want to come hang out with Seaman anytime we're talking movies, TV, trailer reactions. Marvel might be done on the Disney Plus, but in exactly 24 hours and 34 hours from about now, 35 hours from about now, I will be sitting in my chair watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse. So we got new Marvel stuff coming right away tomorrow. And with it, being May the 4th, we got cool Star Wars stuff coming at the end of the month. We got Obi-Wan on its way. You want to be here for all of that. You just dig when I'm doing what I'm doing. You want to show a little love and support for this guy. You haven't yet. Well, then, hey, come join the C-Maniac Nation. It's super easy. All you got to do is jump over there, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.